Hi, before I show some video comparisons between three great camcorders, let's briefly put my choices into context by way of introducing myself and what kind of films I make. If you want to cut straight to the chase, then I have another short video showing just the imagery comparisons. But as one famous American film director once said to an inspiring or aspiring filmmaker, you can have all the equipment in the world, but if you can't make a program. So, my name is Jeremy Broun, and I started my adventure into filmmaking in 1984, before video, and with a second-hand Super 8 cine camera. I'm completely self-taught and colorblind on top of that. But I wanted to convey the world of woodworking on film because I am a woodworker, a furniture maker. I then progressed to VHS and bought the very first compact VHS camcorder and took it to Australia in 1986. I captured documentary of some of the best woodworkers there and also filmed opal mining underground and much more. I returned to the UK and set up Thinkingham Video in 1988, winning a couple of national awards despite being turned down by 6 film schools because I was too old. And I progressed from VHS to Super VHS and then on to digital. And for the past few years I've been using a tiny HD Sony Camcorder that slips easily into my pocket and is so easy to use. It fires up instantly, and importantly, the AV-CHD 1080 files will edit on an old version of semi-pro video software that is 100 times easier to use than its more recent updates. It's often the case. Now, I think while I'm talking, before the viewer leaves, I should start showing some of the images of comparisons, and hopefully you can listen to what I'm saying whilst watching these comparisons between camcorders. Now, the bottom line is that HD is so much easier all round for uploading videos to my YouTube channel. And my question is, can anyone actually notice the difference between HD and 4K? Well, in my journey I purchased a Sony 2K camcorder a few years ago, and it films on, I think it's called XAVC-S, which I think is 2K, but I render everything to 1080. So, being admittedly a techno junkie, I decided to spoil myself very recently in 2021 and look for a camcorder that, can I dare suggest, is future-proof. The term has absolutely no meaning in the world of technology. But I wanted to squeeze every pixel of HD video and also improve on color capture, as I feel my YouTube videos are rather flat. Of course, I didn't realize that color grading is done post-production and makes a huge difference. But I really want as much as possible to happen in the camera. Maybe there's no logic to that. And while I speak and show this comparative footage, I've made this video hoping that both beginners and advanced videographers will make comments and therefore add to the knowledge base. I certainly need to know more, as I have huge gaps in my knowledge, and I even get confused whether I should edit in interlaced or progressive format. I capture in progressive, and what you are seeing here is all filmed at 50p, but my editing software is limited to rendering at either 60i or 30p, and I think I tossed a coin and chose 30p, but I haven't a clue, to be honest. The other thing I should clarify is that everything is shot in automatic mode, and that includes automatic white balance. And because I like to travel light, my confession is I've used a camera tripod, but then all my cameras are very light, and I didn't want to cart around my rather bulky Manfrotto tripod. So what else? I filmed in either MP4 or AV-CHD. Please somebody tell me which gives the best resolution. my understanding is if I want to end up with 1080 MP4, I use a 4K camcorder to get the very best HD quality. But you can see from my comparisons, bearing in mind the large price differences between them, that the quality is pretty good. But of course the Panasonic HC-X1500 is going to be the best. I mean, it's a really great camcorder. But would you tell the difference between the Panasonic X1500 and much cheaper X900 for my woodwork close-ups? I'm also interested in filming wildlife, and the X1500 will capture the best colour, but the little low-cost Sony has a better zoom, unless I've missed a trick with the Panasonic. Another revelation is the tiny sensor size of the X1500, which I know has raised some debate. Now, my Sony 2K CX900 has a larger 1-inch sensor, but the smaller, more recent Panasonic X1500 seems better to my eye. In fact, I just don't understand what's going on with sensor size. In fact, I recently bought the Panasonic X900, which is a 12-year-old camcorder. I bought it on eBay because it's got a 3 CMOS sensor, which essentially separates the RGB colours. And I think the colour is pretty good on it. And it was a flagship camcorder of its time. Okay, so... well, I could go on, but I'll end up by saying that I wanted to spoil myself and buy a better camcorder. I didn't need to. I think it's a feel-good thing, you know, during COVID and all we've gone through with the pandemic. Well, some people are still going through. But I mean, I can still carry on using my cheap Sony, but I think I'll look forward to just upping my game for my woodworking videos. Oh, and I should add that, of course, I considered several other camcorders before I chose the Panasonic X1500, and they included, if I recall, the Canon G50, or maybe it was the G60, but the battery life, and those cameras have a 1-inch sensor, but the battery life on the Panasonic is much better. I like the user dedicated controls on top of the camcorder, and one of those I've dedicated to the menu, because often the buttons are in the wrong place. And it's time I started using ND filters, but then most of my filming is studio based, and close-ups too. I will still have my little Sony in my pocket. It's also very quick to reduce the image quality format to standard for my voiceovers, which helps with rendering times. I use a low-cost zoom mic because you can have the most expensive mic in the world, but if you can't deliver the message clearly, then... well, thanks for watching, and please use the comments below and subscribe if you like my videos. At least I'm highly trained as a woodworker, even if I'm self-taught as a filmmaker.